me. That's a really important thing in society. But
Why are
men
you
tend to think
defending
like,
Islam, Gracie?
hold on a second. Men tend to think like, okay, I want to go do my own thing and make a change and make a difference and like do like be my own man. Women don't really think like that. Women really want social cohesion. They want to fit in. They want people to be happy, and that's important too. But
So
you're
men are
applying sort of
You're
male
literally
standards
describing like
to women.
90%
men
of
are
people. Like
more
literally
biologically
describing 90%
disagreeable.
of people.
I mean, women in America have been convinced that they should give up their virginity in sexual experimentation around 16 or 17 years old. That's fucking retarded. That is retarded.
Yeah, I
You're
would
gonna
agree.
have
Gracie, what do
sloppy
you say
Yeah,
about
sex
great.
60
with
year
some
what
loser
do you say about
teenage
52 year
guy
old
and
man
lose one
marrying
of the
60
most
year old
important
guy?
things that makes you
I think you're just
incredibly valuable, whether you like it or not.
Wait,
That's
hold
fucking
on. Why are you
retarded.
wait? Why are you calling the wait? So you're telling? Okay, you just call that she's gonna be
so
with a loser dude. Okay.
She's
Are
dumb
you
or
that
saying
makes
that
you
dumb
just
most men are?
jealous.
Are you
man.
saying most guys are
Sex
losers?
No, when you're
Wait,
Probably
16 or
true.
do you
17
believe
years
that?
old, the
Wait, hold up.
average
Are you
first
wait, Gracie?
sexual experience you're gonna have with a guy like that is gonna be fucking awful. They don't know what they're doing. It's
Wait,
awful. It's so
Wait,
stupid.
Gracie. I just gotta ask. Are you under? Do you believe in that this framework that like women are born with value and men have to earn it? Or do you align with that group of people, or not? Not necessarily those group of people, but like, do you agree with that sort of
I
like framework or
I think biologically it's
concept?
true.
Because I know you're a
um
Catholic. You're a Catholic, and
men
you're over.
compete for I mean, I think both sides compete for different things. Men compete for women,
But
women
no,
compete for men in
but like
different
you just
ways.
said, like so, it's a woman more value because like it's more important for a woman to keep her virginity than a man. Is that what you believe? Do you believe it's more important
Yeah,
for a woman
yeah.
to be a virgin than it is for a man to be a virgin?
Yes.
Why?
Ideally both should be virgins, but like it is more important for a
Why
woman,
is it more
yes.
important for the woman to be a virgin?
Because a woman's sexual organs are a extremely intimate,
So
delicate
you're
thing that
saying
should
that
be
like a
given to
woman
her
is more in
husband
tune with her
only,
sexual organs
ideally.
than a guy is? Like you can't separate a woman
Yeah,
from her
men's
sexual.
things are flopping around. They're hanging out there. They get hard. They get soft. Whatever. They're funny. They're fun. But like, they're not as intimate and private as a woman's. That's just true. Like, they're equally valuable. Obviously, ideally, everyone should be a virgin before
Okay, but
marriage.
you
But like,
also don't. But
if
oh,
it comes down to it, it's
but
more
like you
important for
also
women.
believe men and
Yeah.
women are different, right? So therefore, that's why it goes back to why you're like having this argument of like why you believe Islam is better for women because men and women are ultimately better, and I want to say like, do you just believe that like Islam is just aware of the fact that it's more aware of the fact that men and women are different, and therefore that's why it's better for women, okay? And even going back to the original
Somewhat.
statement that you were
Yeah.
saying, where like, okay, what is freedom for women? What does society tell women? I mean, oh,
I mean,
okay,
American society. I mean,
because like
not
that's
to
where
get
I'm
like too
like
into the
again, I'm going on a
anti-American
long
thing, but like
tangent here, and like
generally, wait, wait, let
I
me
want
just
to
say
go
this.
back to like your original statement of
Wait, hold on. Modern Western society has convinced women that one of the I'm not saying nuns aren't important, okay? I'm not saying women have to have children, but the most beautiful thing a woman can do, which is one of the most beautiful things, which is to bear life within her, which men can never do, right? It's a beautiful gift. They have convinced women that taking pincers, shoving them into her vagina, twisting the baby out, and ripping it out, causing her lifelong trauma, is a freedom. That's retarded. That is fucking retarded.
freedom,
And
freedom.
I'm here to
What is
tell women,
freedom?
like, maybe if you think
That's just
about it a little
emotion.
bit.
That's just emotional waffling. Like just that's just
No,
emotional waffling.
that's
Like if
one
you
of
bring
the
that,
Hold on, guys,
if
freedoms.
you bring
That's
that,
one of the
if you
freedoms.
bring that,
It is
That's one of the
if you bring
undeniable.
freedoms
that to
allowed to women
if you
in
bring
modern
that to a
American
debate, you're gonna
society.
lose. Like if you bring that to any like worthwhile debate, you're gonna
No,
lose.
no,
Like
no,
that's just
no. Listen to
emotional
me. Listen to
waffling.
me. Listen to me. And
Yeah,
it's. I don't hate men, okay? But I will make this case. Men have convinced women, hey, let me fuck you without a condom on, which is a more pleasurable experience for me. You get no commitment. If I put a baby in you, what you're gonna do is cause yourself trauma by ripping that baby out of your uterus through your
I just
vagina, and that's freedom and liberation
I,
for
I would
you.
just like
That is
to
retarded. That is
promote.
sexual. You know what that is? That's sexual
I would just
slavery.
like to
That
promote.
is sexual
I
slavery. That's a different type of sexual
uh
slavery.
yeah.
Turn
I
yourself
would just like
I
to
mean, it's
promote
into
the
still
a
fact. I would just
pleasure
like
dump for
yeah.
me. 100%.
So I would just like to promote the fact that you encourage that behavior, right? Because you say that it's okay for men not to be pure before marriage, which means that men are gonna have to have sex with disgusting women, and those abortions are gonna happen. So like your position should be that men need to be pure. I can only be with a pure man, because if a man is not pure, that means that he's been touching women that are not pure. Like you should not want that at all. Like your position should be straight up, everybody's a virgin until God
I
tells
don't
me I'm allowed
believe
to have sex.
this society is going to be perfect. Like ideally, I said ideally, both would be virgins before marriage. But the reality is, whores have always existed. Men fuck whores and then they get married to a pure woman. That's just the reality of the situation. I
So
don't know what to
isn't it
tell
more?
you.
Isn't it more
Some
of
men
like?
will do that, some men won't.
So the pure woman promotes that behavior by marrying an unpure man. So the problem is not men, the problem is women. Stop marrying unpure men. Like it's really your fault, not men's fault.
It's just not as big of a deal for a man to be a virgin as it is for a woman.
Well, it should be, because who are they having sex with? If it's not women who are apparently
Whores.
virgins, it's
They're
got to be
having sex with
guys.
whores. They're having sex with whores.
Wait, Gracie, do I look like the kind of guy that's had sex with a lot of like whores?
You look like the kind of guy that's watched a lot of Wes Anderson movies.
I've watched every single.
The framing look like a Wes Anderson
Which
do
I
have-
like.
You
Whoa,
do
yes.
have the
So you're
most
probably not
American
black.
room I've ever seen in my life. If I was to define
no, that's
America in one
framing.
room, it would be yours, by the way. Take that how you will. There's a fucking gun in the top left corner as well. Vibes.
I got my.
Look like out of. Oh,
Bro,
Right
it's
here.
actually just within arm's reach at all times. It's the most American looking statement.
It's
I've ever
loaded.
seen in my life.
I mean, I understand. Like,
you know what?
I understand it's like kind of like rage bait, and like I just think it's an interesting, like, different way to look at it. Like, people are like, "Oh my God, they make women wear curtains." But in America, you're encouraged as a woman to have promiscuous sex, which does nothing for you, and if you happen to get pregnant by it, to rip that baby out of your uterus.
Okay,
so that you
so
can go have more
you're
promiscuous
arguing
sex.
for one extreme to
How
go
is that
to
better?
so you're
No,
arguing
but
for
the
one extreme
argument-
over another extreme, essentially. So you're saying one extreme is
what-
over two.
what I
Are
think
you?
is the
I
more
think Gracie
interesting-
it's basically telling women that they have to fucking to pick their poison, wear the curtains or have an abortion. I feel like that's
True.
fucking Gracie's
Well,
framework
if
here.
had to
I
pick
think-
one, which is kind of the setup of this debate, it would be definitely curtains.
The reality of actually what this debate is about, more than anything, is actually about the concept of is freedom important, and to what degree, right?
I say
Because
freedom
actually
is important as a
Gracie-
libertarian,
Yeah,
as a
so,
libertarian man
Legion,
who believes
Legion,
in the
Legion,
libertarian
Legion,
party.
Legion,
Legion, hold on. Let Ruben say.
Let me cook.
Hold on.
Right. What actually is at the heart of the debate, right? If you're a liberal or a kind of like traditional Western person, your antithesis for better is almost synonymous with the word freedom, rightly or wrongly. Where Gracie's saying actually there are other things that are important intrinsically other than just this freedom metric. A valid point on that is with abortion, right? No one denies that it is a freedom that is afforded to people to be able to do so. It's whether that freedom is necessarily beneficial or right to do. And if we are pack animals, which we are, then we almost bind to a social contract or a general will that allows things that are negative towards women, where the Islamic kind of social contract doesn't allow this. And ultimately that might be better for women. Right. But it's the argument actually almost boils down to, is there too much freedom within a society for women that ends up pushing them in certain directions where they become like sex objects or OnlyFans or these kind of ideas? I think that's where it's particularly interesting, and saying is Islam better for women is more of a provocative way of sparking that as a conversation.
Okay, so.
I don't know if I've misread
Yeah,
your
I-
argument.
Oh,
here,
okay,
think
so
it's
now
valid.
that
I-
I'm
I
gonna
guess I would-
take what you
I would
said
say
there,
modern
Ruben, into
American
consideration.
freedom for women is a lie. It's not freedom. It's actually, it's like it is. I'm not saying it's sexual slavery, but like it's a worse attitude towards
It's-
sexuality.
It's
that is
freedom by
more-
definition, but it's
Well,
not
there's
necessarily
different
freedom
types of
as in
freedom, but
good.
It's freedom from restriction. Would you say
Yeah.
that? It's freedom
Yeah,
from
I'd agree
restriction.
with that.
Right, but freedom from restriction in the sexual realm works for men and doesn't work for women because women are restricted biologically. So I would say
Yeah, I'd
actually,
agree.
sexual restrictions recognize women's natural biology, which is that you can get pregnant, and if you get pregnant, you need a man, and also you're not going to be able to pair bond as effectively if you have like lots of sex. So sexual restrictions are recognizing and respecting a woman's natural biology. Sexual freedom, sexual libertinism is disrespecting a woman's natural biology. So it's not beneficial for women. It might be beneficial for men. Sure, you can have more sex with more women, but not it doesn't work
I
for
also
women.
think long term that is incredibly negative for men as well. I think
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think within society, sexual promiscuity has been like one of the worst things that we've ever done. Is normalizing it. Because I think it's lowered the caliber of men within a society, and it's also lowered the caliber of women. Sort of on par, but it's a slightly different argument. But so
Yeah, I mean,
I would agree with
I
you.
have
The
yeah,
problem with having the same ethos towards men and women is men have a naturally higher sex drive. So we should be a little bit more understanding when young men don't control themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's the argument. I think men it's predominantly seems to fall onto women within societies to reduce the sexual promiscuity and then to increase the value of men almost indirectly because now the competition to get access to sexual resources is so much higher. Like I don't want to
Well, the
sound like a fucking
traditional, I
turbo
think,
boomer here, but I think men were better probably in the 40s and 50s where the sexual pool wasn't as free. And now where it is, you get fucking cave dwellers who can be like 4 or 5 to 10 body counts, and they've literally not seen sunlight in like 3 weeks.
right, but I think that even in traditional societies, there was always an outlet. It was not seen as a good place to go, but there was always a place where you could, you know,
Oh yeah,
and
a
it was
brothel.
gross, and there was risks, and it was you don't want to get caught there. But I don't know that that's like the worst solution.
yeah. I mean, I think just in general, sexual promiscuity has been negative
Wait,
for
hold up.
Western
So,
societies as a whole.
Ben, there, are you referring to how,
Legions
like,
back.
back in the days, like, yes, there was always, like, this avenue
I'll
of,
be right back,
like,
guys.
prostitution,
Red light
like,
district, yeah.
like, it was
Yeah.
the oldest profession in the book, okay? Like, we always had it, like, again, like, in the 80s, like, strip clubs were, popular. Like, I remember, cause, a few months ago, I was, binge watching, Married with Children, and I always fucking laugh when Al makes jokes about going to the fucking booby bar, even though he's, like, married with, like, a really hot woman. But he still
Yeah.
fucking chooses to go to the fucking strip club. It's like a low
Yeah.
joke, but like that was just like the kind of humor of the time, though.
Well, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I don't think
also,
strip clubs. I don't think in the '80s you really had. I mean, promiscuity was. That's a different thing.
the other
Married
reason why
men
it's
being
different,
promiscuous. Yeah, that's
Um,
different.
the other reason why it's quite majorly different is because ultimately women can reproduce once every 9 months, men can reproduce like 2 times a day. And ultimately, once you take that into account, there is a reason why, like, even men who are married will look for alternative mates because I guess from a biological point of view, it benefits our personal gene pool. Where the woman's strategy is, I want to have sex rarely, but with as higher quality of a man as I can find, who's also likely to protect me and my offspring.
oh yes.
Where for us, it's just like pump and dump, right?
Oh yeah. So then
But usually, yeah.
it that it does that fucking tied into fucking hypergamy where like women date up while men we just fucking date
That's
who
a
we
lie.
ever came
Hypergamy is a lie. It's a lie.
hypergamy. So
It's
women
it's an
don't like.
extrapolation from.
So you're
It's
saying
an
women
extrapolation
don't
from
go
dating
for the guy
apps.
that's like a bit higher value than they are, like.
Both men and women are attracted to attractive people. If that's like a new thing for someone, that's
Sure,
ridiculous.
but like, why is it
What
that
does that
more
mean?
common than not? Okay, more guys are willing to like settle down with like the Starbucks or the McDonald's cashier, but women
No, that's
they don't
because
go for like the janitor, dude. They don't go for like dude. They
it's
go
an
for God.
extrapolation from it's an extrapolation from dating apps, and dating apps are largely
I'm not
skewed
on
by like
dating apps,
one night
okay, dude.
stands,
I don't.
hookups. Okay. Oh, here's the idea. If it's a one night stand, if I'm going to a club that's just like like we're looking to hook up, there are a lot of men who will end up not hooking up. All women can get laid. Like that's always been true. If it's skewed towards like a male, like a one night stand, women will get like well yeah, women every woman can get laid. Not every guy can get laid.
True.
If you-
Okay.
if you
Okay.
do
That's
it-
what I fucking understand. And it's like again, this is to well, true. Just because of that. Okay, but it's like
That's not an insight into human nature. It's nothing that the internet. If I walk around and say to women, "Do you want to have sex?" Let's say I'm a 9. I'm not saying I am, but like I go around and say, "Do you want to have sex with me?" Very few women will say yes. If a woman who's also a 9 goes around and says, "Will you have sex with me?" She'll do pretty well. Like 60 maybe percent of guys would say, "Sure." That doesn't mean that women are different than we used to think.
What I mean, women are different than we used to think.
Well, this idea of hypergamy is that like the internet has changed the essential relationship between men and women, and men are now there's this common idea like 50% of men cannot find a long-term mate. That's not true.
According to what statistics? What statistics are you
Well,
referring to here?
hypergamy means that women, like the top, isn't it? Like the top 40% of men get all the women, and the bottom 60% don't. And it's because women swipe right on the top men because they're more selective, obviously. If
It's
it's
like
a
the
one
top-
night stand.
And that's my argument. Like you see, I advocate for a world where women aren't really selective. Now I seem that now I know that seems fucking contrary to fucking both sides
Women have
here.
always been selective. When it
Yeah,
comes
but
especially
like
to
here's the thing. I feel
when it
like we
comes
give it,
to
but like I think we've given
short-term
women.
sex.
I think we've given women too much fucking
I love
power
women
with this
more.
selective nature that they have. Okay.
A woman who is like
But
this
when
is
we-
like backseat Betty. Before the internet in the 80s, there was always a girl in high
Yes,
school.
but now
who
they
would
can be more
have
selective.
sex with
Okay,
everyone on
okay,
the football team, but wouldn't be able to date them.
okay, Ben,
Okay,
Ben.
so she
Okay, but Ben,
short term
Ben,
is
Ben,
able to level
But Ben,
up.
times have fucking changed. Okay, women have more the more freedom a woman has. Okay, the more of course the more selection she's gonna be because like look, women can fucking work. Okay, they have all these fucking things that like a man do. So like we men, we now have to fucking provide more just to fucking meet up with their expectations because again.
I don't understand what you're saying. There's
Because like
an
if we're
equal
looking back
number
at the
of men
if
and
we're looking
women.
back at the
There's no
1950s,
more
okay, where women weren't really in the workforce, they weren't encouraged to be in the workforce. The only Viking support system these women had were to be with a fucking husband in the 1950s.
It
It's
doesn't
like
matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm saying women are more
Women
selective
are not
today.
more selective. Okay, women before they could work,
They
were
had to get
selective.
married or else they would fucking die.
but they would still be selective.
I know, but like here's the thing though, okay? I'm not denying that women weren't I'm not denying that women for like from the get-go selected, okay?
You're saying it like it was skewed, where a woman has to like marry an ugly guy because she has to get married for financial reasons. It's not true. 4s would end up with 4s, 5s would end up with 5s. There's an equal number of people. For every ugly woman, there's an ugly man.
Okay, but like
basically.
here's the thing, ugly people are not attracted to ugly people, okay? Unfortunately. Or
Yeah, that's true.
unreally. It's like
Maybe.
again, you have the fat guy, but the fat guy isn't
But-
into fat
but I
woman.
think they
You have the
are
fat woman who
because-
isn't into fat guys.
No,
okay?
I think long-term relationships that are unequal fall apart because there's like a sense of like like poor people who marry rich people.
So are you
Generally,
saying?
those
So are you
relationships
saying
don't do
people?
well.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying that me as a guy who's the average dude, I should only go for the average girl, and if I don't find a woman attracted, then that's on me. That's my fucking fault. That's why I'm gonna
Yeah, that's
fucking
the
be
incel
alone.
problem. The incel problem is.
Oh, so
and
I'm an
not saying you're
incel now.
incel.
So now
I'm
you're
not
calling.
saying you're an incel. No, I'm just saying the logic of an incel is, I jerk off. I live in my mother's basement, but I should have a top tier female.
Well, no, I'm
Which,
not.
like,
I'm not advocating.
Why would you think that you would, even if she went with you? If that guy,
Exactly. That's
Elliot
why for me, my
Rodgers
fucking standards are
got
she
the-
can't be
hold on a second,
fat.
hold on a
She
second.
can't be
if
fat.
Elliot Rodgers
That's about
got,
it.
Like the Stacy, okay, they wouldn't have a good relationship because he's a loser with bad social skills. He should have found another whiny loser. He was actually fairly attractive, but like he should have found someone similar to him because
Oh, okay, fine,
someone else
fine.
was
Oh,
whining
okay,
and complaining
okay.
constantly.
Okay, then tell me this. Okay, would you agree that
He's
most male?
whatever.
Oh,
someone
okay,
who's
okay,
half
but like
Asian who's
I'm gonna add.
whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna draw another fucking like comparison. Okay, why did that like most comedians? Okay, male comedians. I wouldn't like consider now. I wouldn't say that most male comedians are ugly, but they're not they're not fucking Shads. They're
Right.
average like man, like Adam Sandler, fucking Diovan, Shane
Yeah.
Gillis, you know, all these guys, they're average looking, okay? They're average looking, okay? How come they get with like the fucking hot chick, okay? Like I always see fucking like these guys. Now it could be because
Because
the
they're
fact that they're
they're
celebrities.
social.
It could be
They're
because they're
attractive
fucking.
in other ways.
Yeah,
They're
they're
successful.
genius. They're genius level like entertainers, dude. Like
Okay, so why
do you
could
think they're a
why cannot
comedian?
and
But
so
that's
do you
still
not
an
think
equal
that
relationship overall because she's bringing something and he's bringing something of equal value.
okay, and
Generally
don't you see
speaking,
and
those are
don't
top
you see
tier.
that being like being part of the reason why incels think, oh, if Adam Saturn can get with a woman way above his league, then I can, even though you know the incel is a fucking loser who lives in his basement all day. Okay, so it's giving him this fraud precedent that like, oh, he's ugly, or he's an average dude.
Well, I'm saying
okay.
if you're fat, you're not going to be really happy with a woman who is healthy because you're going to be like, why don't you eat like me? You know what I mean? You should be with someone who's fat generally, someone who's a lazy slob who eats Doritos all day long and sucks on like big gulps. Like that's going to be your like proper mate.
Okay,
I don't know
but you're
what the big
forgetting a whole generation raised on the fucking Simpsons and fucking Family Guy, where it is the fat husband and the skinny wife. Like, come on, do you not like do you not see how media kind of like does a social sort of like
You mean that you've been
mindset?
raised to think that you want Marge Simpson and you should be Homer?
No. I'm
I
I'm
don't know
not
what you're
saying like the
talking about.
Simpsons specifically, but like there's this idea or this framework,
That was
this
that was
template. There's a
something
template
before,
that like
like
media
men.
fucking that fucking
They got
suctions
married.
into fucking kids.
They did that because in the 80s and stuff, there were a lot of families where the father had a beer belly and got really fat. But once again, when they were married and they got married in their 20s, they were both in great shape and looked great. Like so, they were both in
Okay,
good shape when they got.
okay, but why is it
They
that
don't
like the woman
they,
is required to like be in
after
shape and the guy can
10 years
like
of
fucking
marriage,
let him go? Okay, it's like
guy's gonna be fat. That's kind of like a classic thing. Like after 10 years of marriage, a guy's so fed up, his only like escape is food and beer. So
Yeah,
he's gonna
that's
go.
true. Yeah, like a guy who lets himself go. Okay, that's a problem.
I mean, if you've been in marriage for 15 years and you stayed through that shit, like God bless you, man. If you get fat for like you like that's the you know the least of your problems.
it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. My parents were the opposite. My mom was the one who got fat.
Generally speaking, women are more overweight than men. So
It's much easier
But then
for a
again,
woman
also
to
she's
get
also a woman who'd had like 4 kids. Okay, there's like 4 kids in my family total, so
Yeah.
like
because
that's like 4 times like her gaining the baby
because
weight 4 times.
the hormones makes it so that you can gain weight very easily compared to a man. A man makes it's very difficult for a man to gain weight compared to a woman. If you
true.
had a contest with a woman of like of like you both weigh yourselves in, and then you're like in 30 days, like whoever gains the most weight wins. Like the woman would almost guaranteed like would win. She would just like get
If
so
it's a
she would get,
contest to gain weight,
yeah, it's a contest to see how much weight you can gain in 1 month. Compare like a woman compared to a man. I
and
think the woman.
probably she can also lose it quicker.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like though she's fighting her body. She's her like her mind is literally fighting her body with her like especially if she's had kids like the all the hormones in her body really affect the ability to be fat or not fat. So
So
like
you're saying women's bodies want to make them fat?
in certain situations, in certain like yeah, like
No,
there's a biological reason for a woman to gain weight after she gets pregnant.
no, not really. Actually, I mean, yes, in some sense, it's like insurance for the kid, but like not really. Women in
It's
famines generally have healthy pregnancies
I think
because
a part of it is so that the woman has enough breast milk for the children when they're
Uh,
born.
I mean that's sort of I think that's a lot of like women's perception of that. I don't
That's
think your
that's
body
no,
really
that's growth hormone.
asks you to be fat.
That, the reason
It's
that
not
happens
healthy.
The reason that happens in your body is because of growth hormone that is secreted because your brain is telling your body like to behave in a certain way because your body,
Yeah,
your brain knows.
women who are pregnant are taking in way more calories, and who are breastfeeding are taking in more calories, but
Yeah,
they're
they're
also
eating for
expending.
two. They're literally eating for two.
But they're
And most
expending
of
more.
them don't
Fat would be in
exercise.
addition to. You only get fat if you're taking
Their breasts also
exceedingly many
their
calories.
breasts grow so like it's like the Grinch with his heart on Christmas. That's their tits get like much bigger than they were before, like after they get pregnant.
No, the glands get activated.
That's the mammary glands, Mofal. Cease this Yiddish misinformation.
Giant tits
two
are
days
just
after
bald,
New
are
Year's.
just mostly
Your
fat.
breasts enlarge during pregnancy. How is that
The
not
mammary
under
glands do.
control? Yes.
It's a correlation causation type thing, dude. Just because you see a fatty organ increase in size doesn't mean it's an increase in overall body fat, right?
When you experience sexual attraction to a woman, your penis grows larger. That doesn't mean you're fat.
No, normally
Right?
the breast
That's not a
larger.
fat thing.
Normally, once the breasts grow larger, they stay larger. Once your dick gets erect, it doesn't stay erect forever. Like once a
No,
girl's
when the breasts grow larger, then they get smaller after
Yeah,
breastfeeding.
they deflate.
Mine
Bro.
stays hard, 25/8.
Generally. Not, it depends on the woman. It depends on the woman.
Your
Some women,
gland goes back to its pre-active state. It doesn't remain
stretching of the
active.
skin, the stretching of the skin makes it so that the breast still stays large.
No, you might have
No, that's
a
floppy.
stretch mark.
That's not large. Right? We gotta.
Breasts go back to their pre-pregnancy size after breastfeeding. What next? You're going to tell me that women's bellies stay as large as when they're 9 months pregnant? Like that's not true.
I know some moms who have some ridiculously huge tits and they're not fake and they're like.
Yeah, but those are Jewish moms, dude. We all know the stereotype. Like, yeah, Jewish women, they blow up, they never get back down to size. We know.
I grew up in a neighborhood of mostly Christians.
They're even worse. Protestants.
Their nipples turn brown.
Yeah.
But they don't remain engorged for the rest of women's lives.
This one woman had to get breast reduction surgery after she got pregnant with she got pregnant 4 times and on the fourth time it was twins, and so her breasts got ridiculous so large that after she was breastfeeding she had to get breast reduction surgery.
That's
and
based.
she started with A cups.
She got fat.
No, she didn't get that. I mean, a little bit, but not ridiculously. Not to any extent where she couldn't exercise well or walk or do sports or anything like that. She was still like in decent shape.
So you're saying women change their cup size from before they're pregnant and then after they're pregnant if they have not gained any weight. That's not true.
Even after pregnancy, the tits grow larger and they stay larger. In some cases, not all cases, in some cases they stay larger. That's just the truth of the matter.
How would that happen? How would you explain that? The gland,
the bra size of the
remain
engorged. The girl has to now get is going to be a larger size than the one she was getting before. Even if it's by a small amount. Yeah. Yes, very much so.
Oh, okay.
Do you sell bras?
Millimeter. Why don't you tell me next that when a woman's nipples, when a child breastfeeds, that it sucks the nipple out so that the nipple becomes longer and longer. The more kids you have, until it becomes 5 inches long. It's not true.
No, that's not true. What happens though is women's nipples become very sore. And the more they breastfeed, the more children they have, the longer they breastfeed, the sore their nipples get. After they breastfeed, and it becomes almost extremely painful to breastfeed after a certain amount of kids.
No, their skin heals between children.
Not necessarily, not fully.
No. Okay. So all women have sore nipples who've had children.
Ask.
Honey.
Find a woman and ask, man. I'm not a woman.
Have you ever? Yeah, you've never been through this. You're hearing stories.
I'm hearing stories. Yeah, I've never been through this. Sure.
Do you read these stories on the internet by any chance?
I'm telling you the story of my life, bro. The story of my life.
Sore nipple.
I mean,
I get this is from personal experience, man. This is not from reading anything. This is from my personal experience in life of
Your
talking
of
with somebody
what?
who experience, who talking with somebody an older woman that went through this experience, and talked about how like by the time she had her third kid, her nipples were getting so sore that like it was like she almost couldn't breastfeed. Um, just saying.
That
You're not
typically doesn't
supposed to.
happen.
The third kid, nipples get very sore.
I had 6 kids, so I never heard anything about this. But I think this woman may be lying to you. Were you trying to suck on her nipple, and maybe that's why she made up this story?
No, she was just she was a grandmother who was telling me about like her kids going through her kids, her pregnant life.
I
Her
knew it was
pregnancy.
Bubby. I knew it was Bubby. Like I just knew.
It's not my. It wasn't my grandmother. It was my friend's grandmother.
Same difference, dude. You guys share grandmas. That's like the most base thing Jews do. You all have like a big extended
Why was
family. You
your
throw each
why
other
was
up on
your
chairs and
What?
stuff.
It's a Jewish person. It wasn't a Jewish person at all. It was an Indian.
why was
person.
your friend's grandma telling you about her sore nipples?
Because she like honestly, she was a drug addict, and she was just like saying she was like
Oh,
spilling, so
okay.
she was spewing a bunch of random like nonsense about like telling me about random shit, and I'm just like, all right, sure, like kind of. I mean, she was a painkiller addict, like so that's
So
a
you're
different kind.
talking to an Indian grandmother drug addict about her nipples? I wouldn't say that's probably like a good
Yeah.
basis for like extrapolating to normal human experience. But
Oh, she was a drug addict. She became a drug addict like years after she had her children. So this was a story of when she was a sober, normal person. Oh yeah, I think I got it. I gotta go. I think.
good,
Bye,
I got.
Mofo.
good, because I
I'll
think
see.
someone else should have the talking stick
Merry,
now.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the last thing I expected you guys to be talking about in the Islam chat, but
nipples.
Sore nipples, I
that was
guess.
good.
One question now that people have actually left. Are you just comparing Islam to like Western Christianity, or what? Like, if we had a strict Christian theocracy, you'd obviously prefer that over Islam, or no?
I'm comparing
Theocracy
it
is not a Christian thing; it's a Muslim thing. Not even really.
Well, okay, maybe not the right word. More, I'm saying, if the Christians pulled back, like if you had 2 states, one was Christian without feminism and one was Islam without feminism, you'd still take Christian over Islam, yes?
yeah, I'm comparing it to modern American culture, which I would say is largely secular.
Okay, no, that's fair. Like,
Vaguely,
I think you can.
vaguely Christian.
I think you
We're
can actually
Christians.
get
We're
like
not
a good
Muslims.
debate in this. Yeah, no, I knew that. That's why I was more saying you're comparing it to like modern Christianity to modern Islam, if that makes sense.
Just like I think that there's a common perception that like Muslim culture in terms of women is like barbarity, and then like traditional Christian culture is like so much better than that, but like way better than that is like modern feminist culture. And I think that's not true.
No, I actually kind of understand where you're coming from. I think it was just triggering people because they couldn't understand that you were just comparing modern Christianity with modern Islam, and then they don't understand what that means.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you call our culture, post-Christian. I don't really
Yeah.
think it's Christian, but it has.
Well, you guys
Christian
both know
origins.
there's obviously tons of people just saying now we need stricter Christianity in America. So it's not that far fetched what you're saying.
I don't really think we're gonna go back to like what would America be, a Catholic country? Like
No, and I'm not even saying that's what they want, but you see people pushing for that mindset. And I'm saying the reversal of Christianity is not that much different than saying this position here.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you compare a Muslim culture with like a medieval Christian culture, they're not that different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Compared
yeah,
to modern stuff. Yeah.
I just
And
think
you know
Well,
this thing about wearing curtains, I was just watching something on YouTube where a Muslim woman was having non-Muslims try on the hijab.
Mm.
And actually it's very pretty, it's very feminine. A lot of them I thought were immediately like made
Yeah,
to
bro, you
look,
fuck
they
your daughter,
looked
dude.
much
You're
more
weird, bro.
dignified.
Incest babies, huh?
Oh, one of these guys.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep, I'm about to report y'all for incest content, which is against code conduct of the United States government. So GG.
And his English teacher failed him like in a big way. That was
Epic trolling. It's good.
I didn't even kick them. They just left. They had like
US
10
code.
trolling them. No, I like the topic because it's both it's triggering to like everyone except Muslims are like, yeah, I like this. But Christians are like, no way, Muslims are dirty, gross, barbaric, and secularists or whatever, modern people are like, no way. So it's like triggering to both sides.
I think the idea if you say like Islam has these advantages, maybe it would make Christian culture say like, hey, we can do something similar. Like
I don't
why are
know.
we just assuming
You know,
we
Grace.
need
You know, here's the
pornography,
thing. My
OnlyFans,
honest
and
opinion here,
degradation?
Gracie. I think
Right.
you're secretly a feminism, and feminism has secretly psyopted you.
She's a covert feminist.
Yeah, she's a
Secretly
covert.
a feminist?
You're a covert feminist, all right.
Well, how so?
Well,
I mean, I grew up in a feminist culture. Definitely has influenced me. But, I mean,
because essentially, I want to push back on this whole one claim you make back to you claim that women just from your framework need support. So what do you mean by women need support, and why is it that like you're claiming that women need support more than men though? Would you believe that women need more support than men? And would you say that in an absolute framework, or are you saying yes, there's variations where like some women need less support than other women, and there's some guys that fucking need support, maybe as much as support as like what the average woman would need.
Legion. It's very simple. Women are just more vulnerable than men.
Okay,
so if you
but
want
why are
women
you
to ex-
denying that men can
Wait,
be
hold on.
vulnerable fucking
If
too?
you want women to experience like happiness and less anxiety and more flourishing, then a society that like protects their vulnerabilities would be more
Okay, but
beneficial.
why can't that society also protect a man's vulnerabilities? Why are we acting like men are supposed to be?
Well, in a
like-
different way. In a different way.
Well, what do you mean in a different way? Okay.
So
Because like,
society protects
because like,
women.
here's the thing though.
Like,
Okay,
for
we
example,
cannot just,
against
we
sexual
cannot.
aggression.
Okay, we cannot make every. We cannot. We cannot. We cannot.
Adderall loses.
You asked him for an example, he'll give you an example.
Society needs to protect women from like the opposite sex. Okay. Men don't really need protection from the opposite sex. If a woman's very sexually aggressive with me, like I don't really need laws. I don't need to take her to court. It just is no really need for it.
Really?
It's like
Really? What if you're like a really scrawny dude, okay, and like you're getting harassed by like the average woman, okay, and you just, cause like again, I'm 5'6", okay, I'm fucking short for a dude, okay. Like,
has that ever happened to you?
What?
No.
What?
Have you ever been sexually harassed by a woman?
Whoa, why does it have to be fucking sexual,
Exactly,
okay?
exactly,
Why does it have to be sexual, okay? It could be any kind of violence, okay, against me, and it will be
He was
fucking
just
like...
talking about sexual aggression. You're not following what he said.
What do you mean I'm not following?
Oh.
If you're at a club and a woman grabs you,
Dude, I understand, okay, there's a power imbalance,
are
because
you
that's
gonna
just
call
by
the
the silent...
Are you gonna call the cops? Are you gonna call the cops?
Yeah, it's because I'm that kind of person. Okay.
Okay.
Now the average guy,
You're looking at, like, Cal
I'm
the
gonna
Cop, like,
assume doesn't
should
do
grab
that.
my dick.
Okay, doesn't do that. But I am not like most fucking guys. Okay. I'm not a stigma male, okay? I'm what would be considered a beta fucking male, okay? So I know I'm not on the top of the fucking food shame. I'm a fucking loser. I'm probably would have been one of those fucking loser guys in high school that hooked up with that fucking like high school girl too. You know?
No, the loser guys don't get pussy in high school. The popular guys do.
And the
I
only
mean,
time
some of them.
and the only time the loser dude does get pussy is when a woman is like somehow manages herself to find herself in a desperate situation. Cause
Yo.
let's be honest, okay? If you're like a really ugly dude and a woman is fucking you, you were on the bottom of her list, okay? You were on the bottom of her list, and
Where do
somehow
black guys fall into this equation? Like,
that's the thing though. It's like gender, race, like I think ultimately, Gracie, I think you're problematic because I feel like you're part of the problem because like again, ultimately, I think all the problems today are not about any kind of differences we have besides fucking class. Okay,
Okay, Mark.
who the fuck is Mark? Who the fuck is Mark?
Who's Mark? Okay. Well, guys, listen. I've been in here for a while. I appreciate the debate prep, but I've been up since 2 a.m. as well, so I'm gonna take a breather. But thank you all for your help, and I do genuinely appreciate it. I had a good time. Bye.
adios.
Good.